So let me see, I'm just getting ready for a moment. I'll be with you in a sec. So happy Sunday, and I'm just recording. Nice to connect with you. I hope you're doing well. So I have lots of news to share with you for today and tomorrow and the coming days. So yeah, beautiful. Rite of Passage. So we just started that yesterday, and it was so nice to receive the diamonds in Telegram. I love when people share the diamonds of what comes in, because when you share the diamonds, it helps us all to really value and to accept what's in our system, even if we're not aware fully. But when we hear them, we get a transmission. So I love to share the diamonds, and it's interesting. I have a few of them. I just grabbed them here. I took a few of them down. And what came in through two people actually gave feedback was that the webinar yesterday evening of Rite of Passage, which is about the aspects in us that was not developed from boy to man or girl to woman, that we all have these, and I had many of them myself over the years, that had not made that initiation from into an adult. And if you do not make that initiation, what happens is you remain in blaming and victim state and worrying about what people think of you, and not really stepping into your sovereignty of your creator. So yeah, some of the diamonds were, I love them. Bravery came in through a few people actually. Dignity, honor, proudness, and strength. Much more energy. See, what happens is we lose a lot of energy when we're doing things for others, or we're not doing them from our authentic being. And then when we are, all that energy comes back. So yeah, I got that feedback. Energy, much more energy. Hope. That's nice. I really love that. It really, when you're in your creator, you're in your visionary and you're curious, and the hope comes into life again about what I'll create or what's going to happen tomorrow. Bravery came in again. Another one mentioned bravery. I am that I am. Courage and power. And that was just a few of them, and more feedbacks are coming in. So first of all, I want to thank you for giving those feedbacks. And tonight's webinar, we're going to go much deeper. So last night's, we were really activating or initiating that part of our essence, the different age groups that were not fully developed and honored, to allow oneself to enter a state of being, of accepting being a sovereign adult in the system. So this really brings you into your life force, your truth, and your power as a creator, your sovereignty. And so I was activating this yesterday evening. And how I work, if anyone's not aware of it, I'm working through quantum entanglement. What is quantum entanglement? So it's interesting, science finally could photograph it, and it actually is the image, exactly what the Chinese have, of yin yang. And when two fields connect through the heart, through intention, one needs to be in the positive, one needs to be in the negative. So when I'm holding space, I'm in the positive, and you simply are immersing. So you're in your negative state, or passive state, should I say, a state of being, more of a state of being. And what happens is, when I'm working those frequencies or activating those frequencies within me, staying true to who I am, and all the ones I've worked with in my own system, then you have the opportunity to activate you, those activations within you. I'm not sending energy to you. It's simply an activation. And this is quantum entanglement. So this is how I'm working. So years ago, it's interesting, it came in very strong. I think it's maybe 10 years now. I was staying in, actually, you probably all know him, Jason Sherk's parents' home. And Marcy was there as mom, and his dad, and Manny. And what they were showing me was Jason's Bar Mitsu video. And they gave a very strong story about how they prepared for it. And we really went into the full initiation. And when I saw the video of Jason in the front of the house, and he was doing the speech, I could see he was clearly still in his adolescent state. And then Manny had got a camel for him to go to the front of the house where the beach is. And there was, I could see when he got off the camel, I could see there's a man. And it was interesting how Marcy, his mom, had said to me at the time that, as, she was proud of her son, and she had said, I've done everything I can as a mom, and she gave Jason the space to be a man. And this was really huge. I could feel that activating in my system. So from that point on, I started to research more and go into ancient cultures and Africa as well, to see all the different rituals around initiation, Japan, for example. And I started to see that this ancient culture was really, really forgotten in a way, or not fully honored, and we were missing it. So then I started to really open up the frequencies of it, the initiations of it within my own system, and I could feel the results come into my system. So then I started to do that for others. And this is what this webinar is about. It's about initiation of any part of your teenager, your adolescent, that was not honored as a man in your own responsibility and sovereignty, and taking a step further away from your parents, and your parents giving you the space to be that man or woman in the system creator. So this webinar is really about that activation. And we're going to go further today. So if you were not in it yesterday, and the replay is there, and you could purchase that if you want, and then you can join us live later on. And the group is really, really getting stronger and stronger. So that is today's Rite of Passage, it's called. And the links are on my story on Instagram, or else if you want to find it on my website. And then I'm really excited to tell you as well that I'm doing a live tomorrow with Laurie Ladd. And we both were talking during the week, and we felt on a collective level, there's a lot of fragmentation in the system where people are, well, I actually got a visualization of it when I was talking with Laurie, and it was like a compass with small magnets put on the back, and the magnets were pulling people off their path, off their truth. And we were talking about it together and feeling in, and what we both agreed and felt what it was that there's a lot of manipulation in the system that's coming through the handies, that's coming through the TV. And it's this subliminal, not even pronouncing it right, programming that's happening through your handies. And it's affecting the way we make choices. And I really felt into it. And I could feel that it's making people think it's their knowing, but it's not really their knowing. It's programming being implanted in their system. So what we want, and that's fragmenting people. I could really feel it. We felt it very strongly. It's a lot of fragmentation of people, out of their compass, I'll say compass. So what we're going to do is hold space. The two of us will hold space tomorrow. So we're going to bring it to a conscious level. So myself and Laurie will be talking about where we perceive it and how to perceive it. And we'll bring it up to a conscious level. And then we'll work on clearing it in the background and going back into wholeness, going back into your core compass. And I'm really excited about this. It's going to be a very, very powerful group, I feel. And it's going to be insightful as well. So I feel Laurie bringing in a lot of gifts there as well to this. So I can feel that the combination of the two of us working together, it's going to be super, super strong in the system and give you very, very good results. So it's taking place tomorrow. The link is on my story, and it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be free. And it's myself and Laurie talking about fragmentation. And then during that, we're going to work to align you back to your core compass, back to your core essence, so you can really set up boundaries as well in the system. And what's beautiful about it is, and I noticed this when I was in Shella in Africa, in Kenya, that I was playing music one evening, and then I just thought of a song that I used to play in my childhood, and next of all, let's start playing it And I got an immediate reaction to that. I realized that the device is actually connected to my system. And this isn't very technical in a way, because when you think about it, for the last 30 years, the bioresonance machine, the SCIO machine, if anyone knows about that, the SCIO machine can tap into your system and know everything about you. I remember the first SCIO session I had when I was in Budapest, where the creator is from, actually. So Bill was there, and I remember when I just gave my date of birth and place of birth, it read everything about me and knew that I was using frankincense that day, for example. Now that gave me the shivers that day. I say, oh my gosh, this computer knows more about me nearly than what I know, and could change my system. So what I perceive is they're using that type of technology on our systems through the phones at the moment. And what I did in Kenya, when I realized that, I brought consciousness to it. So I allowed my system to be conscious what's happening. And then I closed my system to that way of getting into me. So I had boundaries to it. So I could feel since then I'm not being affected at all by it. So that's what we also want to bring in. We want to support you to bring consciousness, clear it, and bring in boundaries, so it doesn't get into your system, so you can stay in your core knowing. It's crucial that you stay in your knowing, because more of this information is being dropped in. We're being taken off our compass. We're being taken off our path, and we think it's our decisions, but it's not really. It's implanted into our systems. So it's very important for me to have these boundaries in the system and protection in our own systems, and see it like just a security system in you, and nothing to be afraid about. You can change it yourself. When you bring awareness to everything, then your system knows how to stop it getting into your system. So this is why we felt it was really important that we have this conversation tomorrow and really talk to you about that. Also, I just want to talk a little bit about, I have a leadership program on at the moment, and it was the last, 4 webinars we did. The leadership is a teaching, but activation. So it's activation of the leader. And there's a beautiful group that we have, and they're sharing on Telegram, supporting each other on Telegram. And that was a leadership activation. For me, it's crucial to activate the leader within ourselves, to step out of this passive slavery, codependent relationship with Big Brother, and stop this people pleasing, and to really go into your core truth. So the first webinar was really, I was activating Christ consciousness, for example, the Buddha aspects. I was really activating really strong leaders, which I've been working with for years to integrate into my system. And then through quantum entanglement, I was activating them. And this really made a huge impact in everyone's system, that they feel more empowered. And what I love about this work through the quantum entanglement is that you're doing the work, you're doing the activation yourself. So you don't feel dependent on me, you don't feel apart. You remember your own potential, remember yourself. That's what's so beautiful about this work, that you feel it because it's your essence doing it yourself. I'm facilitating it, but you're doing it yourself. And that's what I love about it. So the next leadership one is about communication. So the next leadership one is about the voice, about communication. So I'm going to work very deeply within the ancestral lines to see where there's communication blocks in the system, this life system, and to support you clear any blockages around communication in your system, so you can stay in the power of your communication. I'm also doing another single webinar at the end of the week, and that's called Power. And I'm sure that word itself is activating something in you, because I know for years it was really triggering me. And for me, it's very, very important to honor your true frequency. It's like a lighthouse, and you are a lighthouse, and that is the power of your essence. And if you're dimming that down, or embarrassed or afraid of it, then you're not going to create as a creator here, and you're not going to be in flow with your truth and your soul resonance. So I'm doing a single webinar to really activate your core potential, your core power, so you can stand in it, be it, immerse in it, and not be shy of it, not be disrespectful to yourself, and not be afraid of it. So I'm going to support you to clear what's blocking you from accepting your true power on every level. So I'm really, really excited about this webinar. It feels very important at the moment. I remember in school and with religion, all the negative aspects of I mentioned power, ego, guilt, shame, disgust, all these different things came up in the system once it was mentioned. So we were dimming down our light and embarrassed and hiding from it. Stay true to yourself, stay true to your own essence and your own truth, and then manifest from your power. So I'm really excited to bring this in because I really feel the work is getting stronger and the results are getting stronger because we're embodying more. And the more conscious we are as creators and the more of us involved in this, the more of an impact on the collective field too. So I feel it's really a crucial time to be here. So I'll just recap. Today, I'm doing the second part of Rite of Passage, and that's the activation, initiation from boy to man, from girl to woman. And then the next webinar the next one will be tomorrow. We're going to have a live tonight with Laurie, just talking about tomorrow. But tomorrow's one will be taking place at 10 p.m. Greek time, Monday. And that will be myself and Laurie bringing consciousness to where there's fragmentation within your system, and then how to go back into wholeness, and then how to be aware of it, bringing awareness to it, and then clearing it. So we're going to clear it, and then we're going to set up protection so you're in your own boundaries, so you can connect to your own values, your own knowing, your own compass, and not be affected by the collective, the group, or anything else around you. This will clear codependency too. Then the next webinar following week later on will be also the leadership one, will be the second part of the leadership one. And the second part of the leadership will be about activating your communication as your core voice, communications aspect. And that will be clearing all communication blocks in your ancestral line, the genetics, very important, because if that's in your subconsciousness, it will affect you. And clearing all those topics around it so you can activate your voice, activation of your communication aspect. So I'm looking forward to that. If you're not in the leadership program, the first one is there for you. And then you can drop into this one and use the replay to work it in your system, and also drop in, you can connect with the Telegram group there as well. So yeah, lots of great things happening. And maybe I'll see you at tonight's webinar, Rite of Passage, or maybe tomorrow, Monday, with Laurie. And yeah, it's going to be very exciting. And then next week, as I say, the Power Workshop or webinar. And then it'll be later on, it will be the teaching one on activating your communication around being a leader. Have a